Hey y'all, it's Law, your favorite sober, thriving waxer here. Anyways, I have been growing my eyebrows out. So we're gonna do some stuff to them today. So I thought I would do that while talking to y'all about how I came up with the name of my studio, which is called Mizmeyagi, which there's more of a story with that, which is like how I got into waxing and all of that. And so I think this would be a good time to talk about that. I have this like huge vein right there. Anyways, the first thing I'm gonna do is cleanse my eyebrows, and then we're gonna wax them first and go from there. So how I became an esthetician in the first place is I was 20 years old. I was pregnant and I had graduated high school. I did some college, but I just wasn't my thing really. And so I had quit. I had a lot of retail jobs, and then I met my ex-husband, and we ended up getting pregnant, and I had like no real career. So I was like, oh man, what am I gonna do? And like all before I became an esthetician, like I've always been into skincare and makeup and beauty, although I was always made fun of. Pretty much my whole school career I was made fun of, but I was still like really into it. And so I was like, oh, maybe, I'll become an esthetician. And so we moved to LA shortly after I had my son, and I decided that I was going to go to esthetician school. I also was working part-time at, I don't know if you can little focus or not, so you can see the hair. No, darn, it's there. I was also working at Olive Garden as a waitress or server, which was the worst job I've ever had in my entire life. I absolutely hate it. I still have nightmares about it to this day. Anyways, went to esthetician school. I went in the summer, and I remember during the summer we could go 12-hour days, and I just did it. Like I wanted to get done, I wanted to get started, and so I just killed it. We had babysitting from my ex-husband's mother and aunt at the time, and so we were really lucky. I was able to go to school, get my esthetician license. It took me about 5 months. Normally it takes 6, but because I could go 12-hour days, it didn't take me quite as long. And so did that, and got my license. So once I got my license, we decided we're gonna move back to where I was from, which is Orange County, California. Just if any of you know it, it's just beautiful there. I loved it so much. I did not really like living in LA, and I really wanted to move back. So we moved back and got a little apartment, and I struggled at first. I had a hard time finding a job. I would put resumes out. I was really taken advantage of at a lot of places, which is what happens if you become an esthetician. Just know that. And so, but it all led to really good things. So I did work at a couple of little spas for the time being, and then I decided I want to work in the medical field. And so what I did was, this is back in the day, but I just looked up on the internet, like all the plastic surgeons, board certified plastic surgeons and dermatologists in my area, and got all of their information, and I just sent my resume through snail mail to all those places, and got a couple of callbacks, and I went on interviews, and I ended up getting my first real job as an esthetician, which I had for years. I worked there for years, like 10 years or something crazy, and I loved it, and it was a great place to work. And so I worked there for a while. I became the manager. We had 3 offices. I did skincare, I did waxing, we did it all. And I did that for quite a while. And in that time I got pregnant again, had my next child. At this time I was just like drinking and having a good time, and it wasn't really a super issue at that time. Like I was just, having fun. It wasn't really like getting in the way of work or anything too much. So my eyebrows are definitely like second cousins. I hardly have a tail on this one. I am going to laminate them. So hopefully I'll get some more growth. I think we're going to do that now actually. So yeah, in that time I had my second son. We were living in like nice apartments, but me and my ex were having a lot of problems. He also had a drinking problem, and we were just not being the best that we could have been. I blamed a lot of it on him, and now looking back, a lot of it was my fault too. It wasn't just him. He was a lot older than me, but like I still knew better, and if I could go back and do it again, like I always say, like it's made me who I am today, and so I'm okay with that, but at the same time it affected my children, and so I would change some things, but you know, obviously we can't do that. So anyways, we bought our first house, and that was in Miyagi, California, which was a bit of a commute. So it was like an hour and 20-minute drive, and so I was commuting, and I had 2 small kids. I was drinking. Things were just kind of chaotic, and my relationship was really bad. There was a lot of physical violence, and we ended up separating for the final time. We had a few separations throughout the years, but this was like it. Okay, so I'm gonna do a laminate with the Olaplex Lash and Brow. I've never used this one before. I have laminated before though. So getting a divorce, that commute, like everything was just a lot for me, and I decided that I was going to go on like a little bit of like a mental reprieve, like a disability, to kind of get my mind right, and I did that, and then I went back to work and it just still wasn't working out. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. So I ended up quitting my job that I had had for so many years, and I do regret that. I regret the way I left there. I regret a lot, but anyway, so I was not working. I had 2 kids. There was a lot of family problems at that time, and that's like a whole other video, but like my kids went to live with their dad. So I basically, because I was going through like some mental health stuff and family problems, and so he was like, I'll take them. And so I didn't think it would be forever though, and it ended up being forever. But okay, so now I'm going to put on the lifting lotion. And so you want to be careful not to get this on your skin, especially my skin is like so sensitive. I burn myself sometimes. Okay, so let me put this on real quick. So basically my kids were living with their dad. I wasn't working. It was like the perfect storm for things to start kind of going downhill for me. And they did. I ended up getting another job for a cosmetic doctor in the town next to mine, and I met someone there who liked to party, and we began partying a lot. And you know, I would work, I would party, and it was turning into like basically like my work was getting in the way of my partying type thing. I ended up meeting a guy at a club, and that changed the trajectory of my life because he was addicted to drugs, and he became my boyfriend, and things just started going really downhill from there. I didn't see it obviously at the time, but it was getting pretty bad. I started using opiates and just really not caring about my life. And so that went on for a while. And I ended up eventually losing my job because I couldn't make it to work. And I mean, obviously they had every right and they should have fired me. I wasn't showing up to my responsibility. And so what I did was I took out my 401k and I just started to party even harder. I got a couple roommates, and life was just going downhill quickly, very quickly. So they look pretty crazy right now, but I have to, this is just the process. Okay, so I ended up spending all my money that I had for my 401k, and I ended up having to sell my house. Sold my house. I'm skipping through so much stuff. My parents decided they were moving far away, so I was stuck living with, I got a place living with my boyfriend, and things just got really bad. I started working at European Wax Center, which is what got me into just waxing. And I did that for a while until I quit that job and was just getting high. At this point, I was using H and a lot of Xannies. I can say that, I don't know. And my life was like really going downhill. And so I remember one day just like thinking, like, is this my life? Like, what would I do if I could do anything? If I wasn't a drug addict, if I wasn't handcuffed to my bedpost, you know, metaphorically. Like, I'd love to have my own waxing business. So what would I call it? Oh, I'd call it Mizmeyagi. Why? Because Mr. Miyagi, I'm an 80s baby. I loved Karate Kid, and it's a play off wax on, wax off. And I just loved it, and I would get, you know, lifted and like think of things and like create menus and ideas and like dream of what I'm doing today. And oh, by the way, this stays on for like 6 minutes. And so I would dream about that, and for like a couple of years I was like really bad. And then my brother reached out to me and was like, what's going on with you? Like, you don't seem too good. And like, I straight up told him, like, I have a problem. And he said, do you want help? And I said, yes. And so literally within a week, I was on my way to detox and to rehab. And that's what brought me to the city I'm in now. I live in Northern California, and it's because I went to rehab here. And so when I talk about, like, I go to work sometimes at the rehab, that's the rehab that I went to. And now I work there part-time or whenever they need me besides this. And so I went through rehab, and then I started working for European Wax Center again. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I want to accomplish my dream. And so I worked there for like a year. And then I worked at another place, and then I'm like, okay, I'm going out on my own. I'm going to do it. And I prepped for a while, and it's a big step. Like, if you're right now, like, if you watch TikTok or social media or whatever, like, a lot of bosses, you know, like, doing their own thing and stuff, but like, I would not survive if I hadn't had all the experience I had up until that point, working for the plastic surgeon, working for European Wax Center. Like, all of that gave me the expertise that I needed to run my own business. And even then, I still struggle with the business aspect of things. And so I worry about people who get their license and then just think they're going to go out on their own. Like, it's really hard, and you have to have a lot of drive and will, and a lot of the generation today doesn't have it. And I don't mean it to be mean, but I see it. It's like, if it doesn't give me instant gratification, I'm not doing it, and that's just not how life works. And I'm all about helping people, and that's why I do this, and I want, because there's enough room in this industry for everybody. So anyways, so I started out in one place, and I worked there, gained some clientele, and then I moved to another place that was still within like a salon. Did that for a little while, and then now I just have my very own little studio. It's out, like, you would never know it's here. Oh, this stuff is stinky. So I'm gonna kind of dry it off. And then we're gonna put the second step on. You can see how they look crazy, and they're red because I get red really easily. So where I'm at now is I'm in like a 4-story building that I'm up on the top floor, and you wouldn't know I'm here. Like, you have to know I'm here to know I'm here, if that makes sense. And I love it. Like, I'm my boss, I work by myself, my place has my own vibe. I don't have to worry about other people's energies, except for my clients, and I have like the best clients. Like, there's positive and negatives about being up here. One is like, I don't have foot traffic, so if I want to get new clients, like, I have to do it myself. I can't rely on like, oh, there's clients already coming in to get their hair cut, so let me talk to them. Like, I have to, most of my clients that I get are from referrals or Google. And so that's kind of a con. That's like really the only con. Plus, I'm downtown, and like, whenever you find a place, like, you want to look at all things. Parking is a big one. Like, you have to pay for parking here. There's not a lot of it. It's kind of a pain in the butt, and I wish that it were different, but you know, it's not. I've looked into moving into a different area that I really like, but it's very expensive, and so for now I just can't. But my hope for this channel and for me is to like grow and like grow in front of the camera, not behind the camera. And maybe move into something different. I don't know. I don't know where life is gonna take me. I am in my 40s, and I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. That's why I'm back in school, because I want to help people be beautiful on the inside too. And so I'm back in school, but for now, like, this gig is really good. I am really blessed. In the summer, I work in air conditioning. Like, it's nice in here. The money is good. I'm surrounded by great people. Like, it is not lost on me how lucky I am, and it almost like gives me a tear to my eyes to like think like this is what I dreamed of when I was in my addiction, and I'm here now. And it's been a lot of hard work, and it doesn't come without its share of hard times. I did have a relapse in 2020, I think, or 2021, like during COVID. My dad died, and I had to shut my salon down, and it's just like a lot going on, and like, I did have a relapse, and I'm really connected with the recovery community here, and I kept going to meetings. I stayed, and I'm so glad that I did, because I feel like that's what brought me back out of it. It lasted for like a year, and so today I have like almost 3.5 years sober. I relapsed right before my 4th year before, so I am just really grateful that I still have my own place, and that I'm able to do this and make a living. Trades are awesome. A lot of good trade, right? If you don't know what you want to do with your life, trade is always a good idea, because it doesn't require a ton, and then you can always go back to school for a while, like I am in my 40s, going back to school. And so, anyways, that is like the really long story of how I got the name to my salon, which is really funny because the town I live in is a college town, and so a lot of my clients are college students, and they have no idea what it means. They're like, Mizmeyagi, miss me, like, what is that? And I tell them, they're like, oh, okay. But then there's like the select few people that get it, and like, those are my people. I'm like, yeah, you get it, that's cool. And a lot of people were like, oh, you shouldn't name it that, it's weird, or it's like kind of off the wall. And I'm like, well, I'm weird and off the wall, so it's fine. I'm okay with it. So anyways, we're almost done with this part of it. I'm kind of like putting them in the shape that I want. You can put like saran wrap on them if you want, but I don't, because I like to kind of watch them and like see how they're doing and move them around a bit to my liking. So this is the second step. And then this one, it grows really, like, I have some really long hairs. I don't know if you can see, like, right there. I hate that. And then they're like really short in the front, and so I have to like manipulate them to look good. I don't know how I'm gonna do that, but I'm kind of trying something new. So we're gonna leave that on for a couple more minutes, and then we're gonna tint them. I feel like I always run out of story before I finish. And so it's like, now what do we talk about? I don't know. We can talk about what I'm doing is called an eyebrow lift. So it's basically like a perm for your eyebrows where it like relaxes the hair. And so you can shape it however you want. So if you don't have a ton of hair or you have really curly hair, like can straighten it so you can get more of a brow. It's definitely a look. So it's gotta be something that you're interested in. And I charge $100 for it. So I'm gonna basically just take off this solution. And kind of put them like how I want them. And then we're gonna tint them. And so to tint, I use ADDICT, which is by the same brand, and I have dark hair. I like to do a really dark brow because I'm extra, or I like to just bleach them. So I'm like way one direction or another, and that's definitely, I feel like, the definition of an addict, right? I can still definitely feel all the characteristics. I just don't do drugs anymore or drink. So I'm gonna do a little bit of a dark brown and a little bit of a black, like a little more dark brown than black, but just like ever so slightly. And then oxidizer, boop, boop, boop. Half the amount, the same amount of stain, and then we're gonna mix it together. And we're gonna put it on. Now this is a stain, so you have to be really careful because it stains. And it's hard to get off if you don't get it on just right. I've been doing brows for years and years and years now. I don't map them. I don't feel like I need to. I could, but I just don't. And then we're gonna put the tint on. I'm just kind of drawing it on the bottom first, giving it like a straight line. And then I'm doing my own so I can like this. I would never do that. If I was working, I'm gonna do use cleanser. Because I will go and kind of tweeze the ones that I don't want to be there. Okay, and then we're just gonna kind of add a little bit more. To it. And then I need to get a dental brush. And this is all like additional training I've done. Like, I have my license, but I still don't know everything, right? So I'm getting like a dental brush. I don't know how to make it focus. See, I'm still learning. Anyways, it's a dental brush, like I get braces. And I'm kind of brushing the tint up into the hairs. Not on the other side. And because it is a tint, you can kind of maneuver it to like, if you want to like tint the skin a little bit, if it's not exactly how you want it. Which I feel like on this brow, I'm kind of missing a little bit. And I kind of just like to stamp it on. Like that. Move it to the other side. Like that. And then I like to leave the front just kind of fluff it. Now these aren't for everyone, okay? These are not for, you know, Mary, Susie, and Jane. Like, these eyebrows are not for everyone. I'm extra. I like extra, okay? If you don't like them, that's fine. You don't have to, you know, be all crazy about it. I get it. To me, it's not a, like, we're all different. Me, I like my brows like this. Clients, some of them do, some of them don't. It's okay. Now that I have this clean line, cleaner, it's not perfect, but I'm gonna go, and there's like little tiny hairs underneath, you can barely see them, that I'm going to tweeze. I hate tweezing. I'm such a baby. Probably a smarter person would like wait for the tint to be done, but I'm trying to like show you guys the final project or product. The tint doesn't have to stay on for very long. I wonder if I could put this on my braids. What do you guys think? I'm so lazy. Oh no, why not? Oh, hold it up there. I mean, I have some left. Why not? Don't tell anyone. I'm doing this. This is just a treat for those of you who've gotten this far. I mean, I don't think this is a very good idea. I went right over my part. I don't know. Probably wasn't a good idea. It works pretty quickly. You don't have to put it on for very long. I'm just gonna start kind of brushing it off. But I don't know, did it? It's different. Maybe a little bit. It reminds me of the Real Housewives episode from New Jersey like years ago where Giudice and I don't remember the two guys, like one of them like would fill in his bald spot and they got into like this big fight and one of them ended up with like black stuff all over him and he's like, well, where did this come from? What's all this black stuff on me? Trying to talk New Jersey, and come to find out it was like a powder for his hair. Hopefully I don't get into any fights. Okay, let's take this off. So I like to do kind of a dry run and just use a dry cotton wipe tool because you don't really want to get the laminate too wet. Oh yeah, baby. I should have had it before because, can you see? I feel like you can't really see it too well whenever I came over here. You look good. How's my hairline look? anyways, I'll take a picture and post it so you can see if I can maybe find a before too. But this service is a brow wax, laminate, and tint, and it's $110 for everything. So it's a good deal because I normally just charge $90 for the laminate. So anyways, I hope you loved hearing about how I got started, about a little bit about my life, a synopsis if you will, and we got to do a little bit of this together. So good. Until next time.